Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to the Ballerina and the Bodybuilder podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy whatever day it is you are listening to this. This is so exciting. We are so happy to be back here again. I am full of energy this morning. I don't know about Katie, but I am just full of beans today, as we can tell.
Yeah, well, it's no wonder you're full of energy. It's like 4 o'clock where you are. I'm like, it's 6 a.m. and I'm just like rolling out of bed. I'm like, I need more caffeine.
More coffee, more coffee. Yeah, I've had enough of that today, that's for sure. And I've had some delicious rice, so I'm happy.
Good, very good. Filled with the carbies. So thank you again for the love on the last podcast. Once again, we really appreciate it. And for everybody that's listening kind of regularly, we like it just blows our mind that people are listening to us, and because like this is literally just for us, to be quite honest, just so that we can like have a catch up chat and just record the chats, because we have some very insightful thoughts from time to time. That's how the podcast came about. So kind of continuing on from last week's episode. Flex, can you not do that, please? Welcome to the fuckery. Following up from last week's podcast, we are going to be talking about reverse dieting this week, okay? And it's very fitting because Lucy is 4 weeks out from her show now, which is fucking mind-blowing. She's just heaving on camera.
There goes the right.
And it's the perfect time to actually start talking like about reverse dieting and what we're going to be doing for Lucy post show, and how Lucy is going to be handling her post show. And like, it's something that she's been worried about, but in the good sense, about, let's say, reverse dieting and what that's going to entail for her. So I would actually like to kick this off and talk about how Lucy's been feeling this prep and what has been, let's say, the biggest worry for her about post show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. This is such an interesting topic, I find, because I think a lot of people, myself included, think about the prep and like, what do we do in the prep? And like, what do we do? And like this, and this, and this, and this. And then for most people, I can imagine it is a bit of like oh my God, it's done. What do I do now? And I'm almost like in the same sense of what is my body going to do in the reverse? I'm like, what am I going to like talk about? Because so often I'm like, hey, this is me, I'm in prep, and it's just natural because it's what is always going on. You know, I'm talking about things and my clients ask me, what's going on this week? How are you feeling this week? And I'm very interested to see like what my personality is when I don't have prep to talk about. It's going to be very cool. But my biggest concern probably has been about the after, because for me, for the past 3 years, I've been, well, I would say about 3 years, we've been very much in this like, we're gaining, we're building new tissue, we're doing this, and strengthening the habits of being a bodybuilder. And then now obviously I'm in prep and it's like we're really ramping them up and we're doing all the prep things. So it's like, what does my life look like after? And for me as well, there's a big part of it of like, I want to have a very healthy relationship with food, and I would say that I do. So I want to maintain that and find a really beautiful balance for myself, and especially because that is what I coach on, is food relationships and all of that sort of stuff. It's a very cool opportunity for me to see the next part of like, okay, like how am I going to be in this and what sort of things am I going to do? But as far as I'm aware, when people talk about the reverse, I've heard so many horror stories, and I think that's what scared me, because I was like, I don't doubt myself at all. I know that I can just like do the things, but then also I don't know myself after a prep. So it's like, I don't want to put this big stick up my own ass of like, oh, you're so fucking motivated and you're so good with your food, and then get to the reverse and do what I see so many other people do and be naive about it. Like, I don't want to be naive. So yeah, that has probably been my biggest thing of like, how do I normalize again into the lifestyle that I was living before? How do I not get up and do cardio every single day for the rest of my life? Like, it's just routine now. And I guess it's going to be setting a new routine and a new standard slowly and eventually, but I'm not in a rush for that. You know what I mean? Like, and Katie and I have had discussions, and we're going to discuss this today. Obviously, we haven't had many discussions about it, to be honest. We thought we'd keep it live for you guys because that's so fun for us. But about like food after show and like food after, you know, down the line and things like that, and where I want it to go. And it's such an open conversation because there's nothing that we're setting in stone. We're just kind of going to have protocols and parameters and guidelines, and then we're going to see. But yeah, that's probably been my biggest concern, just is that I'm think I'm going to go wild with food at all. I've never been that person. I've been the opposite of that my entire life. So I don't have a concern around it, but I just wonder what my hunger is going to be like maybe, and what when socializing is back and there's GYG. You don't know what GYG is. You need to know what GYG is. It's okay. It's called Guzman and Gomez. It's like the most incredible Mexican restaurant in the world. Like, it's like Zach had it for lunch today. It is just like this thing. And that's like, you know, when I get that Mexican chicken bowl, that's GYG. And that's all I want to eat. Like, if that's all I had to eat for the rest of my life, easy, done. So like when GYG is in the equation, what's life going to look like, you know? He's just rambling about GYG. Sponsor us, please. We could do with it.
Sponsored by GYG.
If it was, I'd be much more like.
Anyway, so thank you very much for talking about that, Lucy, and like for bringing up, let's say, what your concerns are and have been for a while. And that's something that we have talked about in terms of like, well, what is post-show going to look like for you? And like, you don't want to give up this routine that you have now because you are so fucking productive with work, with life, with relationships, with everything. But you do want to have that little bit of life back. You want to be able to go to a restaurant with your boyfriend or your family and have dinner with them and celebrate things with them. But the biggest thing that usually lets people down is, like you said, they've been getting ready for this show for X amount of weeks, X amount of months, and their entire life has revolved around this prep. Nothing else matters. Okay, nothing else is going on in their life, and like everybody's asking them the questions, so they're getting used to everybody like seemingly caring about them. They don't really care. They're just invested in your prep. And it's the same with social media as well. You'll see a lot of like your content doing a lot better because you're leaner, you're looking more shredded. And then when prep is over, it's over. People stop engaging with you. Like the likes go down, the engagement goes down, and that can really, really fuck with your self-worth. And therefore your self-image, like your body image as well, because you're not getting that same attention as you were in the lead up to the show. But the more aware you are of that, the more prepared you are for the downstream effect of like not getting as much attention on social media, and really working on separating yourself from the fact that, okay, I'm getting all of this attention on social media. I'm not going to let it get to my head or let it tie to my self-worth or like anything like that, or my anything. So that ties in with the routine aspect. And most people, when prep is over, they're like, they don't have any other goal. They don't have any other goal. And the best time to start thinking about like post-show is when you decide to start prepping. Is like, what is post-show going to look like for me? Because I am working towards this big penultimate goal that is going to be over in the blink of an eye. And yeah, you'll like have some of like the post-show energy with like the little bit of extra food that you're going to have in the week leading up to your show and after the show and whatnot. But after that, there will be post-show blues. And making sure that you have some sort of concrete goal set for yourself post-show in relation to anything outside of the way that you look. Yes, okay. you want to obviously keep a decent level of body composition post-show, and there is a right way and a wrong way to, there's numerous right ways to reverse diet out of a show. There is definitely a wrong way to reverse diet out of a show. Okay, gaining 20 kilos in the space of 4 weeks or even shorter, that's not okay. That's not okay. That is not reverse dieting. That is going absolutely ball hog on food and not being able to control yourself around food. And let's say perhaps you bought loads of food like during prep and have it stocked and stored away in your house. Biggest mistake that you could ever make. So having some sort of a concrete goal post-show, whether that be in relation to your business or life or your career or your strength goals, okay? Having like particular strength goals post-show would be an excellent way to take the focus off of the way that you look and really focus on what your body can do. Because your body, you've just done an incredible thing. You've just done the most insane thing of doing a bodybuilding prep and getting to super lean levels of conditioning to step on stage. Now your body is in a great spot to start getting really fucking strong again. And like setting yourself particular strength goals post show is I find for myself anyway, really, or any post diet is a really, really positive way to come out of a show or any sort of a diet. Sorry, I've spit on my laptop and just wiping it off.
Yeah, love that.
Is a really solid thing to do, is setting goals for yourself post show, and not like the day of the show or the day after the show setting those goals, actually spending time thinking about those goals and why they're important to you. Because if they're not important to you, if they don't mean anything to you, you're not going to stick to it. You're not going to stick to those goals. You're not going to stick to the routine or the parameters that are needed in order to reach those goals. So actually sitting down with yourself and saying, okay, what is it that I actually really want post show? What do I want for myself after competing in bodybuilding? Do you even want to compete again? Do you even want to do an improvement season afterwards? Or do you like the way that your body is looking with this amount of musculature? So all of those things need to be taken into consideration. And the biggest thing that I was like touching on there is routine. You need to keep some form of a routine. Like nothing changes. Like the same as when you start a prep, nothing changes. Your routine is the same, albeit, let's say you get up a little bit earlier to do your fasted cardio or to get steps in, but nothing changes, and nothing should change in terms of your routine and your structure when it comes to post show either. You should still be getting up and doing your cardio that you need to do post show. You should still be getting your steps in. You should still have the same routine, be eating your meals at the exact same time, going to bed at the exact same time, because post show is like, it's a hormonal clusterfuck as well. And you have that to navigate on top of obviously the mental side of things too. So, the routine. I cannot emphasize enough the routine aspect of things in that regard, because that's where most people fall off, because they have no goal, they have no structure, let's say anything to work towards post show, and then their routine just goes out the window, and then they're like, well, routine's out the window, I've no set meal structure, I've not meal prepped, I've not done anything, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, and it's just a fucking tumbleweed of clusterfuck after that.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's such a cool insight. And it's a really cool conversation for me to be having, as well as for, I think, the listeners, because it's kind of like a real like insight to what we would talk about, which is really cool. Yeah. So my thoughts around that is 100%. I felt like, so I'll be very honest, I felt kind of guilty for thinking about post-show stuff, because I was like, no, you should be just so focused on the show. Like, why would you think about anything after the show? So that's a really cool permission to have now, of like, oh, like I thought it was almost taking away from, no, I need to be so focused on what I'm doing, but it's like, but I'm just doing what I'm doing. Like, I'm just on the stairs. It's okay, you know, and I'm going to pose and I'm going to do that. So that's cool. And that's very liberating. And I think there's a beauty in it for both you and I when it comes to this, is like, we both have our own businesses that we get to put into every day, and we get to grow and we get to build and we get to refine and we get to be ourselves in. And that's what I'm really excited about. I think post show is like, one of the biggest things that I teach is food relationships, healthy relationship with food. And I'm a nutritionist, like being able to share like nutrition and recipes and stuff like that. And that gets limited in a way when I am obviously eating,
following a meal plan, and you have to like abide by, okay, when I say have to, we've both decided that this is the best way for Lucy to prep at this moment in time. We came to that decision together. I would never ever ask someone to follow a meal plan who's had an eating disorder in the past, but she decided herself, she was like, look, give me a meal plan. I need a meal plan because I'm fucking everything up. And
not having it. Oh my gosh, the time and energy. No, I was just eating cream of rice like 6 times a day, and that was like probably a bit excessive. It was just like, can I just have 5 cream
all of the time?
A lot of water in the belly. Yeah, no, that was completely like, I remember coming to you and being like, can we please do this? And you're like, okay, if you really want. And I was like, please, like, I just want you to tell me, and I want to eat the food you eat. Like, I was like, make me a bodybuilder. And it's awesome. Oh, I love being on meal plan. Honestly, it makes my life so much easier. And when you learn to love the foods and co-create a meal plan of all the foods you love, it's like, why would I not do this? This is so simple for me personally. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Absolutely. Like, because I've obviously been on meal plan, which is our choice and all the things, it does limit what I can share. And I still want to be on a meal plan, but we're going to have some flexibility in there that at times, okay, maybe I'll make a recipe here with Zach and it'll be tracked as macros and all that sort of stuff. And that'll be really cool to share. So I'm excited to share that. I am also excited to share my mindset post show and my mindset in my reverse.
Yeah, that's something that I was going to touch on as well. It's like that I think that should be one of your goals, is just showcasing one, like you have a point to prove. Like you have a point to prove that, like post show with like having a past eating disorder, most people be like, oh, she's going to fuck it up. She's going to like get back into an eating disorder. And you're like, well, actually, fuck you. No, I'm not. Okay. I'm going to show you that dieting does not cause eating disorders. It's your mindset around dieting that causes eating disorders. Okay.
Couldn't
and this
be more true.
Like we could like talk about ad nauseum. So like you have a point to prove. That like could be one of your goals post show, is just like, I want to like make sure that I have a healthy relationship with food post show. I don't want to do the dog on it. I don't want to ruin my relationship with food after spending so many years working on it and improving on it. And be that example for your business and your clients as well, showing them the, hey, like you can enjoy your food. They're like, post diet, you can enjoy your food and have a healthy mindset around food. And because you've never done it to this extreme before, it'll be new territory for you. So it'll be like you'll be navigating this new part of your life as well. And you could almost, let's say, kind of bounce off of yourself in terms of like having the coaching head on you too, and be like, okay, I'm having this emotion or feeling, etc. What would I say to a client in a similar situation?
Exactly. It's going to be a really cool challenge, and I'm excited to share it with my audience because it's such a thing that I talk about, especially with my dancers. It's all the stuff, because they have to live in fairly small bodies, but they also, I need them to be healthy. So it's a really exciting thing for me to be going into. And kind of on that, I've had quite a lot of it's nothing wrong with it, but quite a lot of comments around me to so what are you going to do with your body after the show? What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to try and stay at this weight? What are you going to do with your body? What's your next challenge? I'm undecided, and I'm really liberated by being undecided by what my next challenge is. I've been a professional ballet dancer for many years. It might be nice to be just a fit, strong, healthy gym girl without having to have a challenge all the time on my body. And that's been something I just landed into. And I was like, no, I'm excited to gain weight. I'm excited to gain muscle. I'm excited to build a massive ass. Like, I'm excited. It's like it's incredible, the mindset change of like I don't want to stay like this. Like, and I think that's this really interesting thing that people go, oh yeah, you want to stay at where you are at the bottom of post show. And I think you could probably relate with me on this, is we've seen ourselves tiny. We know what that looks like. We've seen it,
and I'm like, as well.
Yeah. I'm like, I would like my brain cells back anytime now. Like, I'm really excited to eat and think and do all that stuff all in combination.
Have to do basic human functions.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be the motive.
Yeah. And that's something that I say to anyone as well, like who's like fascinated with staying lean, like post show. If you've been lean enough, like properly stage lean, more than 2 weeks, you're going to be over it. You're going to be like, pass me the off season, pass me the food. It's time to gain some weight. Because being proper stage lean is it's horrible. It's horrible. But it's like we thrive off of it at the same time. Yeah. But only for like, you can only maintain that for a very small chunk of time. So you absolutely should not be staying ridiculously lean post show. You do need to gain back a certain amount of body weight in a specific amount of time in order to, let's say, get your bloody body's human basic functions and hormonal functions kick-started again. And that can take quite a bit of time for some females. It can take, let's say, a little bit less time for other females. It's all very individual. So touching off that topic, kind of sliding into that part in terms of like more like numbers or like metric or data side of stuff. With Lucy, we are definitely on low food right now, but we do like couple that low food, follow it by, let's say, a high day here, a high day there. She has had a couple of diet breaks this prep as well, in order to make sure that she's fresh. She's not feeling like absolutely like beat into the ground. She's not looking too stringy. She's still looking lovely and full and healthy and like bubbly. yes, she's running a little bit flat, but that you have to get flat in order to get lean. And with my prerogative as her coach, I want to be able to feed her into the show. So that's why we're pushing harder for like the past couple of weeks and the next couple of weeks, as well as like we're going to be putting the fucking gas on the pedal, our foot on the gas pedal, excuse me. Gas part. All gas, no bricks. And then we can ease off the week leading into the show so that she can freshen up, and we can feed her a little bit more going into the show. So that will actually be the start of her reverse, is going into peak week. So we can start increasing her food the week leading up into the show. And if we need to pull back on carbohydrates, like 2 or 3 days into loading, we can do that. And I'm not going to absolutely slam her with carbohydrates. There's absolutely no need to do that because she's a bikini girl. But we'll also be tapering back her output too. We'll be pulling back on her cardio. We'll be pulling back on her daily step count. And then post-show, we'll be doing the exact same thing. So if you think of a diet, we're doing the reverse of a diet. And there are some people who like to do reverse diets in a very, very slow manner, very slow fashion. But I'm not the biggest fan of that, because it's just meaning that the athlete or the person is staying in a deficit for a prolonged period of time after being in a diet for 24, 28 weeks. Like, no, you don't do that. So I think Lauren Conlon and Paul Revelia coined the term, the recovery diet. And that's what I see most good coaches do. And that's what I want to implement for you as well, is bring you back up to your new maintenance of calories and set your macros and whatnot. And my plan for Lucy, and we have chatted about this already, is definitely still sticking to a meal plan and keeping cardio in, keeping our steps in, like as we normally would do, for at least for the first 6 to 8 weeks post-show.
Yeah.
And then as we like approach that 8 weeks post-show mark, like as long as, let's say, all of the boxes have been ticked and like she's not going crazy on food and she's hitting her cardio, her steps, sleep is all in a good place, digestion is in a good place, then I had planned for Lucy to just take the weekends off of meal planning and just track her macros. So or let's say 2 days out of the week, she can track her macros instead of following the meal plan. Or let's say we could, let's say, intertwine that with, let's say, 1 meal a day can be macro tracked. So, or let's say 2 meals a day can be macro tracked. And so that we can slowly get back into following more of a macro tracking setup, simply because that's how we started. We started following macros when we first started working together, and it worked very well for a very long time. But I do think I was about to call you Emily there for a second. I don't know why I called you fucking Emily. I think Lucy still wants the aspect of having a meal plan and a bit of structure, so she knows how to, let's say, have her meals at this particular time, how to structure her meals, what macros to have in each meal, things like that.
For sure. Absolutely. I agree. Like, I like the structure, and also just with my day, the structure works. And like, at this point, I don't have the desire to eat all these different foods in the day. It'd maybe be like, if like, you know, because I haven't gone out for dinner with friends in months, it's like, okay, we're going out for a dinner, like these are the macros I'm having, this is cool. And then it's set and it's done. And it's like, I don't have that desire every day of the week to be having all this different stuff. It's maybe once a week, and it's like more to celebrate, oh, we're catching up now and doing that sort of thing. You know, it's not for the variety of the food or necessarily at this point for me. Although should we talk about my trip?
Yeah. So we did talk about that. Like, we were like, you had asked me, like, when would be, well, no, basically it went like, Katie, when can I go on holiday after the show?
Yeah, when?
So we talked about it logically and rationally, and I said it would either be like, in a best case scenario, it would be like 8 to 10 weeks post show. If you cannot wait that long, then I would say literally right after the show would be the best time, so that you get that bit of downtime to rest and relax. And we will still have those parameters in place around food, around our meal planning, around our activity levels, but also the communication aspect. That's the one thing that I say I like need to hone in on too, is like, that I want to highlight. I don't need to hone in on. I think we're pretty communicative. Is the communication aspect with your coach. Like, this is something I see a lot of coaches do as well, is like you're doing multiple check-ins leading up to the show, like 2-3 check-ins a week, maybe 4, maybe daily leading up to the show, maybe multiple times a day leading up to the show, especially on peak week, because your coach is going to want to see you after one meal. Your coach is going to want to see you fasted in the morning. Your coach is going to want to see you after all of your meals at the end of the day, and where weight is sitting, how your body's reacting to the carbohydrates, how your digestion is looking, how your waist is sitting with all the food, the water, etc. To then going to no check-ins. No, this is like kind of ties into the routine aspect. Your coach should still have you checking in multiple times a week post-show, at least for the first 8 to 10 weeks. You should still be checking in post-show for like the first 4 weeks, like 3-4 times a week. Make sure like you're staying on track with your food, pictures are still looking good. If something like happens, that it's addressed as soon as possible, and not until like the week of your check-in or the day of your check-in, like waiting a whole week. And that routine aspect really, really helps clients post-show, post-diet massively. It helps them massively, because if you're going from, let's say, getting all of this love and attention on social media, I won't say love, attention on social media, and they're getting all this attention from your coach as well, rightly so, and then for all of that to be gone away, oh my God, it messes with you so bad. So that's why we're going to be continuing with check-ins every other day. We're going to be like, at least for the first 4 to 6 weeks, keeping on top of our communication, like messaging each other every single day.
Yeah.
People be listening to this and be like, this is a fucking lot. Like, this is a bit much in terms of like messaging your coach every day. It's not in the grand scheme of things when it's in relation to a prep. So keep that routine aspect in. Again, they're highlighting the importance of that. But yeah, sorry, I butted in there. Apologies. Can you please take over?
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. I think it's a really positive thing. And I think that communication is something that we have really, really good. And it's something I expect of my clients as well, is that level of communication. But it's like, if you're not doing that, what are you doing behind the scenes that you're not trying to show? Like, that's my thing. I'm like, okay, if I haven't heard from someone in 4 days, what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing back there? Like, and so I think it would be so relevant post-show of especially like when I'm away and stuff like that, like I need to be like, hey, like blah, 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 this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm doing, this, blah, blah, blah. Because like, if you're not doing that, then you're probably doing something a bit cheeky and cooked. Like, be honest with yourself. And sometimes it's like, well, we all have coaches. For a massive part of it is this level of accountability. So it's like, if you're not willing to be accountable, the day after your show, that just blows my mind personally. I'm just like, you've worked this far. It's a respect thing as well. It's out of respect to the both of you. You've both worked so hard to get you to this spot. You're both going to work pretty hard to get you out of it. So yeah, I fully agree on that. I'm fully on that. Like, I spam you enough as is, but yeah,
like,
there's more coming.
Just what you touched on there is like, if you haven't heard from a client in 4 days, like, what's going on there? There's something going on. Because like literally this morning it was like, I haven't heard from Lucy in like maybe 24, 36 hours. I hope she's okay. It's like,
I'm like, I haven't. I was literally like, I haven't messaged Katie today. I probably should just say hello. Like, I'm good, I think. But I was
and I know, like, I know you're good, but like, I just don't want to like be like helicoptering you either. If that makes sense. And I hope you don't feel helicoptered, but like, I just want to make sure like we're on top of everything.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm such a helicopter coach. I'm like, excuse me, what's going on? ... I'm bad. I'll call them. It's good though, yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's all going to be really positive, and it puts me in a much this conversation as well puts me in a much calmer position of just like, I will be fine. And I know, and it's just, for me, I'm actually seeing it as such a positive thing, of a way that I can practice everything I fucking preach all day. Like, I teach food relationships, balance eating, caring for your body, all these things all day. And I can integrate that even more than ever now and be challenged. And I love a challenge. Like, love a fucking challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that I did want to touch on there as well, because I think we talked about this too, was there's post-show, if any competitors listening to this, or any person who's dieting for a photo shoot or just dieting in general, you will probably experience family, loved ones, friends, post-show, post-diet, wanting to spend exorbitant amounts of time with you and like go out to eat, like go celebrate, drink alcohol, all of those lovely things, which is lovely. And like you want to appreciate the fact that like they want to spend time with you, they want to celebrate you post show, but you have to put a firm foot down for those first 6 to 8 weeks and be like, I can't do this every single day with every single person for the first 4 to 6 weeks post show. Okay. Or the first 6 to 8 weeks post show. I will be able to have dinner with one person each week post show for the first 8 to 10 weeks. And then I can maybe increase the frequency of that after that time, because you are going to be in a vulnerable position post show. Your hunger will be high, because when your body gets more carbohydrates, you've experienced this in your diet breaks. When you get more food, your body's like, ooh, I am hungry.
Let's go.
I'm just of like watching this back and getting the AI videos for the reels, and it's totally going to be
Oh yeah, that's so good. That's so good.
You are going to be hungry. Okay. And when you're being put into situations and scenarios in terms of restaurants, eating out, drinking alcohol, things like that, your self-control, if you don't have a concrete structure, limit of self-control, you are going to cave. You're going to cave. And that is going to cause like this tumbleweed effect of like, you're going to get a taste for like very satiable food, very palatable food. And when your taste buds get a taste of that, your brain goes fucking crazy. Okay. So it's very, very important that you limit that stuff post show.
Yeah.
Like actually have like a nice actual meal post show, instead of like going for like sweets, sugar, candy, things like that. It's the one thing that will fuck you up massively post show.
Yes, very interesting. Yeah, and I'm actually so glad like we're such on the same page with that, because I've been already putting that boundary in place. Everyone, oh, I want to take you here. I want to go here. I want to go here. And it's so lovely. And I'm like, yeah, I really want to do that with you too. Just over time. Yeah. We've got the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
so
we've
like
got the rest of our lives.
not too much of a rush. Yeah. Like, but it's that beautiful thing of everyone wants to go with you and everyone wants to have their time with you. And it's like, that's really good. But I'm just going to have to space that out to make it really healthy for me right now. And that's so fine. Like that, I think people can understand that. Or if they can't, whatever, I don't really care. But I understand it. And that's what matters really. And it's like just having that healthy boundary. And I'm already putting that in place now of like, oh yeah, like maybe that weekend in November we get to do like that. And maybe that weekend in December we could do that, but not, oh yeah, let's do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like, no. And I have no desire to do that. Sorry, my digestion is too important to me. It's like, I'm so addicted to my digestion being good. I couldn't imagine just all these other foods. I would flip out. I'd flip out. Yeah.
And like, that's another thing as well, like you've touched on there, is like your digestion. It's so important to you. It's important to you for a reason, because your digestion is directly linked to your mental health. Okay. And if your digestion is fucked, you can guarantee your mental health is going to be fucked as well. And I know for myself, my digestion is of utmost importance to me, that I even sometimes get a little bit nervous when I get refeeds and high days in regards to how my body will digest that food. Will it take it on, not like get bloated, but it's all like perfectly fine at the end of the day, because I'm still eating the same foods as I normally eat. It's just a little bit of extra rice or cream of rice or potatoes or something like that. It's never like, go have this like Five Guys burger. And like, if you did that and you haven't eaten that for like weeks or months or ever, of course your digestion is going to be fucked.
Yeah, I'm so with you on that. Like, honestly, for me, and like, as you would know, working together for so many years, I've never been someone to have like junky food. Like, I just don't do that. If I'm going out for a meal, it's like a steak and some veggies, and I'm like, brilliant, like, let's fucking go. Like, this is delicious. I value the quality of my food so much, and I value what I put into my body so much that I have no desire. Like, okay, maybe like a cookie, but like, that's like, even then, I don't think I could finish that. Like, I have no desire to do that. I love the way I eat, just keen for some more of it. I do want cream of rice though at some point in the next while in my meal plan. It's because of your freaking vlogs. I'm watching your cream of rice with all the cinnamon, and it's given me like throwbacks to when I was in the UK, and I'm like, okay, it's time to come back. That will come back.
And we will have cream of rice. We'll probably have it in like loading protocol for you as well. Because like we know it digests really well for you, and it's just rice.
So well.
And the cream of rice that you get over there is literally like just like plain rice flour, because you guys are a third world country and can't get JP cream of rice.
Can't get, do you know how much we have tried? People, anyone listening, if you can find a good quality cream of rice in Australia that doesn't taste like absolute dog's balls, can you please link us some on either of our Instagrams? Katie has sent me cream of rice from the UK before, and I cherished every grain of it until it left my body. And it is an issue in Australia, and I'm not going to go into issues, but it needs to be changed, everyone. We need to make it happen.
Yeah, so if anybody's out there who has like a supplement store, get your fucking shit together and get some cream of rice in stock. Trained by JP, strong. No, wait, not strong. Supplement Needs, ESN, Naughty Boy. They're all good. They're good. Okay, get them in. Get them in. Get it done. Thank you.
This is a problem when Australians become obsessed with UK bodybuilding, because we all, like, a lot of us do it. Like, there's like a little community, and we then think we get all the food they get and all the supplements they get. And the amount of money I've tried to spend, I haven't, because it was like, remember me sending you tubs of cream of rice, like Trained by JP, and it's like $200 shipping. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to do it. And you're like, don't do it. Just don't do it, Lucy.
Well, don't do it. Don't do it. It's like, no, like, it's not worth it. It's not that worth it. Please.
I know, it's so funny. Anyway, I am rambling, but yeah, post show, I think that's covers most things, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Or what are your protocols the night of the show usually?
Go out and enjoy a meal with your family. Like, don't go fucking ball hog. You're going to be like eating food on that day anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be eating a lot of carbohydrates, lower protein to obviously facilitate the uptake of carbohydrates. A little bit of fat, just hold those carbohydrates in your glycogen and your muscles. But go out and have a meal with your family, like book a restaurant, like go to a restaurant, like a good quality restaurant, and get yourself a nice meal. And again, it's not the meal itself that's special, it's the socialization aspect of it, of like, I'm spending this quality time with my loved ones that I've not been able to do for a very long time. We're going to laugh, we're going to like cherish the moment, and then have a dessert and go home and fucking conk out and go to bed.
Yeah, that's
then
awesome.
The next morning, go out for breakfast as well if you want. Yeah.
Well, I'll be off the next morning, so maybe I will.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up as well. I think we've covered a lot of things. So like keeping a very good structure and routine to your day and your life post-show, having a goal or a number of goals that are important to you post-show to keep you moving forward and focused, not going absolutely ball hog on food post-show, and controlling that aspect. And don't stock or like hoard food, like things that you've been looking at on prep.
Wow.
The best way to like eliminate food focus is just to not allow it to happen at all. So don't go looking for stuff online, because then all of your ads on social media will be cookies, bars, junk food, whatever it will be on social media. You'll just get all of these ads because of cookies and the way that our social media tracks us now. So just don't start and it won't happen. Yeah. So don't hoard food. Don't put those boundaries in place with people, family, friends, loved ones.
Yes.
I'm not going to be able to have like food with you every single day post show for the first 6 to 8 weeks. We will go out and do one day every week post show, and we're going to keep it controlled, and I'm going to be able to choose, let's say, what I eat and what I want, and you're not going to judge me for what I'm eating, what I'm doing, etc. What else did we touch on? Your mindset, your relationship with food, post show as well. Okay, keeping that on the top of your priority list too. Yeah.
And communication.
Yes, communication. Okay, don't stop communicating with your coach, obviously, but don't stop communicating with your friends, your loved ones, your family. And if you are struggling, oh my God, reach out to us, reach out to your coach.
Yeah.
Don't struggle alone, because that just makes it worse. It just makes the elephant in the room 10 times bigger. So make sure you're like reaching out to friends and like people that you can lean on.
Yeah. Amazing. What an informative, wonderful episode, especially for me. I learned so much about what I'm going to be doing, and just solidified everything. And it's really cool to hear everything.
I'm glad it went so well. I'm surprised, because I literally like did not prepare for this at all.
No, we're just freeballing these days, but in a good way, because we are genuine then.
Yeah, we're genuine, and we know you we know our shit because we just came up with that stuff like off the fly.
Yeah.
No,
Just riff.
We're that fucking intelligent.
They're actually that fucking good. Like, that's what they say. That's what I'm hearing in the comment section. So, you know. But yeah.
Thank you very, very much for listening, you guys. And if you found this in any way, shape, or form helpful, please make sure you save it. Save it for yourself post-show. If you're struggling post-show right now, send us a message or leave a comment. Save this for yourself if you're in prep right now. Like, start preparing for post-show now. And yeah, like, comment, save, subscribe, do all the lovely, wonderful things. Share it to your stories, tag us. And yeah, we'll see you next week for something more Lucy themed, because I am fucking sick of talking about bodybuilding.
Well, I was actually going to say, if you guys have anything you specifically want us to talk about or riff on, or conversations or questions, we would also love to hear that. You know, we want to know what you guys want to do. I mean, we have like billions of ideas. And as Katie just said, like, we're not just going to talk about bodybuilding. We promise we're going to talk about all the things to suit all of our audiences. But if there is anything in particular that you guys want to know more on, just send us a DM, drop it in, and we'd be more than happy to start the conversation.
Amazing. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so thank you guys, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.